Hi, welcome back to the Road to Recovery podcast. I am joined here, as always, with my illustrious guest host, Tommy Kelly. And today we have the honor of being graced by ED recovery coach, Tabitha Farrar. I hope I pronounced that right.
You did.
I'm good. Okay, I practiced for like 20 minutes every day in the shower the last week to make sure I got this right. But she is someone who herself has recovered from 12 years of anorexia without professional treatment or support, and now offers hers to others, which is awesome. And she's been an active advocate for destigmatizing eating disorders and developing better recovery resources for adults. And she's an author of 2 books, which both of them I really need to check out. That's Rehabilitate, Rewire, Recover. That one is the one that I want to talk about later today. And also her first book, Love Fat, which I think is the best title ever, Love Fat, an Autobiography. So the first thing I really wanted to talk about is you've been a pretty great voice for trying to, as I mentioned before, destigmatize eating disorders, especially in adults like us, or people that have carried on eating disorder tendencies for many years. Mm-hmm. And so what I wanted to ask you was, what do you think has been personally your greatest hurdle in this endeavor of trying to destigmatize eating disorders?
Oh, that's a good question. The sort of, oh God, there's been so many hurdles, honestly. I wouldn't know which the biggest one is. I think my personal biggest hurdle is being taken seriously just because I'm not a medical doctor. And so being taken seriously as an expert by experience, I think that I can even, because I've written, 2, now 3. I published a 3rd book last year. And when I first wrote Love Fat, I actually tried to go through the route of getting a publisher, which is, I think, a bit overrated. But I thought that's what you do when you write a book, isn't it? You got to get a publisher. And because I was writing about eating disorders, and because I'm not a doctor, I haven't got an MD after my name, I absolutely couldn't get any interest from anyone. And that, I think, has been across the board. That was especially as I started out talking about eating disorders. It's just really difficult to get people to take you seriously if you don't have MD after your name. And so I think that for me, that's been the biggest hurdle, is just actually getting people who are doctors, who are therapists or in the media to actually listen to anybody that's not a doctor.
Right. It's actually rather interesting because, as you mentioned that, and it's the same way. So I have another chronic illness, which isn't part of this podcast, but I've noticed that really, in order to get word out, especially with like eating disorders, people don't tend to listen to it, which is kind of counterintuitive, because you think the people that have gone through it would really have the most experience with those type of illnesses.
Absolutely. Yeah, and in other fields such as recovering from substance abuse, it's actually the people that have experienced that are given the greater credibility and listened to more. And so in different fields, that's absolutely not the way. And in other fields, experts by experience really lead the field. It's just not the way it's been with eating disorders. And I think that one of the primary reasons for that is that eating disorders have been sort of considered this psychological mystery that only a therapist can delve into and possibly understand. And now that when I say we, I mean the field is uncovering the genetic locus for eating disorders, and it's being seen more as a biologically influenced illness. I think that's shifting, and it's getting a lot easier.